We know that Cooper Flagg can ball. We know this is the Cooper Flagg draft. We've known that since he entered college as a member of the Duke Blue Devils. But let me tell you something. If I'm the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he ain't going no damn place. You know why? Because he's white. He's a white baller. That's right, I said it. And I mean it. There's very, very few people that's going to be as marketable as Cooper Flagg. If Cooper Flagg is the player we believe him to be, I ain't telling you ignore his talent and just draft and just keep him because he's white. I'm saying because he's a big-time baller, who's expected to be a big-time baller on a pro level, the fact that he's white makes him that much more attractive. He's a white American. That makes him incredibly marketable right here in these United States, and especially in Dallas, Texas. And I say Texas because I get that from my buddy Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by the way, I saw an advertisement with Cooper Flagg. Did y'all know they had the flag behind them? Did you know that? During the NCAA tournament, they had the flag behind them. I mean, my God. The only promo I saw better than that, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything like that, but I've been on the record saying that when candidate Trump got shot and you saw the blood trickling down his ear and the right side of his face, and then you saw him stand up surrounded by Secret Service agents, and he's pumping his fist, fight, fight, fight. And the American flag was behind him. You knew then, chances of him losing the election was slim to none. Now let's bring it back to basketball. Flagg, with the flag behind him. The brother ain't from the streets of Chicago or New York or LA. He's from Maine, and he can ball. He can play. And on top of that all, white, very, very marketable. I'm not trading him. I'm gonna make money for the next decade off of this brother. He's staying right there. Here we are. He's gonna be 41. He's in his 23rd years. Stat padding his way to ignorant folks out there thinking that's gonna make him the GOAT over Jordan, not realizing that most of the stuff it took him to do in 20 plus years, Jordan did in 13. We gonna look at all of that stuff, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm telling you where the hell I stand. I'll let my producers get in my ear if they think I'm making a horrible comparison here. I'm thinking box office. I think this is the greatest white prospect since Larry Bird. I think this is the greatest white American prospect since Larry Bird. A matter of fact, in an odd way, he might end up being, this kid's got superstar written all over him because he's got a game. But his demeanor fits the bill. He doesn't back down. He's rough and tumble, but is classy in the same breath. Can go to his left or his right, can pull up mid-range, long-range, finish at the basket. He's got all the tools. But you know what else he has that Larry Bird doesn't have? I'm not saying he can shoot like Larry Bird, because Larry Bird's a different animal, but who knows? This brother, his name. Ladies and gentlemen, they're already marketing him and you see the flag behind him. Or you see him superposed within a bag, and his name is Cooper Flagg. You put the American flag behind, oh my God. I mean, do you have any idea how marketable that is?
When Luka Dončić left Dallas, it felt like the sun had vanished from the Texas sky. The Mavericks' heartbeat, the Slovenian sensation who turned the franchise into a perennial threat, was gone, shipped off to the bright lights of Los Angeles in a three-team blockbuster that sent shockwaves through the NBA. It was the kind of trade that defines eras, the kind that reshapes destinies. Luka Dončić, now a Laker, would join forces with LeBron James, forming a 1-2 punch that instantly shifted the balance of power in the West. In return, Dallas received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. For the Mavericks, it wasn't just a roster change. It was a philosophical revolution. General Manager Nico Harrison said it plainly: defense wins championships. And in that moment, the Mavericks made it clear they were building something different. They weren't chasing the ghost of Luka's offense anymore. They were building a fortress, and at the center of that fortress stood Cooper Flagg, the teenage phenom now being hailed as the next big thing, and perhaps the next face of Dallas basketball. The Luka AD trade wasn't just about basketball. It was about identity. Dallas had grown weary of the recurring storylines. Luka's conditioning, his nagging injuries, the weight fluctuations, the whispers about commitment. Despite his brilliance, 28.6 points per game, the highest scoring average for any player traded since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1975, the Mavericks were ready to move on. It wasn't easy. Luka was more than a player. He was the franchise. But Dallas wanted something sustainable, something that could evolve. Enter Anthony Davis, an all-defensive titan, a player who could anchor a defense and give the Mavericks the interior dominance they'd lacked for years. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance, Harrison told ESPN's Tim McMahon. We're built to win now and in the future, and that future has a name: Cooper Flagg. When the trade dust settled, all eyes turned to the 19-year-old from Maine, the player Bill Simmons recently called an overcompetitive psycho. Flagg, Dallas's prized rookie, had already impressed head coach Jason Kidd in training camp. His motor, his instincts, his refusal to be ordinary. In preseason, he was everywhere, blocking shots, diving for loose balls, barking at veterans to get back on defense. Anthony Davis, now his teammate, told him straight, "Be louder out there. You're built to lead." And he was right. Flagg's presence has changed the Mavericks' DNA overnight. What once was Luka's finesse-driven offense has now become a gritty, bruising defensive machine. Dallas isn't trying to outscore you anymore. They're trying to suffocate you. Bill Simmons doubled down on his praise in a recent episode of the Bill Simmons podcast. They're going to win 43 games just off defense. Flagg is like what Tatum was his first year in Boston, just a maniac who guards everything. Guards, forwards, whoever. He's everywhere. He's their culture now. That's the key word, culture. Luka Dončić was artistry. He was the no-look passes, the step-back threes, the smirk before the dagger. Dallas revolved around his genius. Everything flowed through his hands. Cooper Flagg is something else entirely. He's not an artist. He's a warrior. He doesn't glide. He collides. He doesn't entertain. He enforces. He's the kind of player who bleeds for every possession, who turns a preseason scrimmage into a battle. Flagg has already become the emotional anchor of the Mavericks, leading by example. During a recent game after Dallas gave up a soft layup, Flagg slammed his hand on the scorer's table and shouted, "That's not us!" The crowd noticed. The bench noticed. Even Anthony Davis cracked a grin. "He's got that fire," Davis said post-game. "Reminds me of when I first came into the league, trying to prove I belonged every single night. But he's ahead of where I was. He's got no fear." For head coach Jason Kidd, this trade was personal redemption. After years of trying to balance Luka's heliocentric offense with an ever-weakening defense, Kidd finally has the kind of roster he's always wanted: long, athletic, and defensive-minded. A lineup featuring Davis, Derek Lively II, PJ Washington, and Cooper Flagg is a nightmare for opposing offenses. Kidd has quietly said behind closed doors that this might be the best defensive unit in the league. In practices, he's pushed Flagg hard, testing his discipline, demanding communication, teaching him how to direct a defense from the weak side. He listens, Kidd said. That's what's scary. He's coachable, but he's got that thing. You can't teach it. He wants to destroy you, and he's smiling while he does it. If Luka was the show, Anthony Davis is the structure, and Cooper Flagg is the soul. Their connection has been seamless. Davis sets the tone defensively, barking orders, directing rotations, while Flagg mirrors his intensity, covering every inch of the court like a man possessed. They've already developed a mentor-protege dynamic, AD teaching Flagg about timing, angles, anticipation, Flagg listening, learning, then executing like he's been doing it for a decade. It's the perfect blend of veteran experience and youthful hunger. "Coop reminds me of young me," Davis told ESPN. "But he's got this relentlessness. It's like he's allergic to losing. That's rare." Together, they've turned Dallas into something entirely new. A defense-first powerhouse with offensive potential still bubbling under the surface. The Mavericks of today are unrecognizable from the Luka-led squads of old. They're meaner, tougher, hungrier. They don't play for highlight reels, they play for stops. The trio of Davis, Flagg, and Kyrie Irving gives Dallas a dynamic mix of veteran savvy, defensive dominance, and youthful energy. Irving, for his part, has embraced the leadership role. "It's beautiful, man," Kyrie said. "To see Coop push AD, to see them push me. It's a new heartbeat for Dallas. And the heartbeat is loud. Every block, every dive, every charge. You can feel it. Dallas believes again." In Los Angeles, Luka Dončić and LeBron James are already lighting up highlight reels. Their chemistry is electric, their potential sky high. But back in Dallas, something deeper is brewing. Cooper Flagg isn't trying to fill Luka's shoes. He's building his own legacy, one stop, one block, one roar at a time. The Mavericks aren't chasing their past, they're defining their future. And when Luka walks into the American Airlines Center this week, you'll see it. The kid who replaced him, the team that's no longer waiting for magic but creating its own. Dallas didn't lose Luka, they found Cooper. And in that trade, controversial, shocking, history-making, they may have accidentally stumbled upon the next great chapter in NBA history. Because if Luka Dončić was Dallas's past, Cooper Flagg is its future, and that future has already begun.